Hello, everybody. I am Director and Deputy Editor of Marketing Communications here at Ascap. My name's Eitan Rosenblum, and I'm coming to you live from a garage in Valley Village, California. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are Ascap members or thinking about being Ascap members. So most of you already know that Ascap is a performing rights organization, which means our main job is to get you paid when your music is played publicly. So we'll talk about how you can set yourself up for your ASCAP money in a little bit, but there's a lot that ASCAP can do to help your career in addition to the quarterly royalty checks. So our goal here is to offer some pointers to make sure you're making the most of your ASCAP membership at whatever stage of your career. There will be a Q&A at the end if you've got some time, so send your questions in the chat box. And here with me are two of my favorite members of the ASCAP team. I've known these folks for years. First up, Jennifer Harmon from our Film, TV, and Visual Media Department in Los Angeles.
Wow.
And Jonathan J.J. Jones from our Rhythm and Soul team in New York. Thanks for being here, you two.
Thanks for having us.
Happy to be here.
So JJ, let's start with you. Let's say I'm an independent singer-songwriter. I just wrote a batch of songs, maybe released it on an EP or digitally. So at the most basic level, what do I do when I join ASCAP to make sure I'm set to earn money when my stuff is played?
Yeah, so the first thing you want to do is sign up with ASCAP as a writer and publisher. The reason being is because ASCAP pays performance royalties and it splits on a 50-50 basis between the writer's share and the publisher's share. So it's super important to sign up as a writer and publisher. After you do that, you want to establish your members access account, or activate it rather. And members access is kind of just like your online ASCAP portal for all things ASCAP. So in members access, you can update your contact information. You can view your royalty statements. You can register your songs. If you have any kind of issue with your account, you can actually create an inquiry for that situation. And you can also set up direct deposit. Direct deposit is where we're able to pay your royalties straight to your bank account versus a physical check. And there's actually a great advantage to that because with the physical check, there's over $100 threshold, whereas with direct deposit, there's no threshold at all. That is waived. So you can get your money, whether you're making $3 or $30 or $300, you get your money straight to your bank account. So those are some of the things you should be doing to start out when you join ASCAP.
Great. That direct deposit thing is an awesome idea, especially these days when not a great idea to step out of your house and go to the bank.
Right.
Great. So member access, ascap.com/members, or you can just go to our homepage and log in right there. So JJ, you mentioned registering titles and member access. Can you talk about the importance of that and how that works?
Yeah. So it's super important, right? If you don't register your songs, we can't pay you. So once again, you want to sign into your members access account and click on I believe it's register work. And it's pretty simple, step by step. Just follow the prompt, and it's simple. You put in your. I spoke earlier about the 50% writer share and 50% pub share. So you want to make sure you, as an example, let's just say you wrote a song. It's all your song, 100%. So 50 of that is your writer share. So that will go under your writer's account, and 50 is your pub share for under your publisher's company. And so it's pretty simple. So it's super important to register your songs because, again, if you don't do that, you're not able to pay you. So you definitely want to do that.
Great. That's helpful. And I know that when you log into member access, there's like a step-by-step video that you can watch just for help if you've never done it before.
Mm-hmm.
So Jen, let's move over to you. You work a lot with composers for visual media. So do composers have to register their music with ASCAP too?
Not necessarily. So the way that film and television and new media projects are typically handled is that we are marrying two sides of information. So one side is the performance data that we acquire from a variety of different sources. And then the other side is the music cue sheet. And the music cue sheet documents all the music that's used in a particular program, from the score to the song placements. It's everything, all the musical content for the project is included in the cue sheet. And I'm sure JJ can speak to this too. You always want to handle your business up front as soon as possible. It's hard when time passes and you try to go back and work out what the situation was, negotiate the different splits if you're collaborating with other writers. So you want to work with your production company if you're on the film and TV side to make sure that a cue sheet is created in a timely fashion, especially when you're dealing with independent companies and smaller projects. That gets a little bit more critical because the lifetime of that community of people that work there may change. Everybody goes off to do new things. So definitely get all your business handled up front. For the score in a cue sheet or for a program, you don't need to register all of the individual cues. And that's because when we process the cue sheet, we are going to take care of all of that for you. So you'll see works appear in your catalog once the cue sheet is processed. But if you have a song that's being placed that you've written for the project, or another work that you feel will have a life outside of that film and TV program, then you should register it because you want to be able to track that work going forward as it gets placed on future projects.
Got it. So get a copy of your cue sheet if you can. There's more info about this whole process at ascap.com/cue sheets, all one word.
And just a point about that, I want to say it's a great resource, that website, ascap.com/cue sheets. If you're dealing with new production companies and this whole cue sheet thing is new, send them over there. Tutorial is there. The templates are there. It's very clear, and it helps educate a lot of people.
So what about our members that are writing music for ads, like radio or TV jingles, commercials, that kind of thing?
Yeah, the processing is a little bit different for that. And it varies depending on whether we're talking about a network promo or a television commercial, an infomercial, a radio commercial. So the best resource for that is to look at our website for music and advertisements, because the process is going to be different depending on exactly the kind of advertising work that you're doing.
Great. So, all right, we've just gone over some of the different ways that you can make sure that your music and whatever type of music you write is registered with Ascap so we can pay on it. So let's talk about how you get a little bit more involved with what Ascap does. Jen, what kind of educational opportunities does Ascap offer?
We're right here in one of them. So the Ascap experience has been really wonderful for us, and I hope it is for all of you. It's an extension of what we've done for years as a live event with our Ascap Expo. And we're offering all these panels for free, as you know, and they're having a continued life on YouTube so that folks can continue to access them. Outside of that, we have a lot of workshops that we run, and most of this is, as I'll say, in the before times, before we all changed to this new lifestyle. We had a lot of in-person workshops, and there's a great resource for all of those different opportunities on our website at ascap.com/workshops that you should check out. Outside of that, we have a lot of activity going on in our various social accounts. In particular, our Instagram live streams that happen on our Ascap Urban and Ascap Latino are probably the most prolific right now. So definitely check those out. And it's always giving you a perspective on a creator that you admire or maybe you've never heard of. And you get to learn a lot about the process from them.
So, JJ, I've been really impressed by everything that the Rhythm and Soul team has been doing recently in terms of all those live streams. And I also know you got some experience with workshops in your world too. Can you talk briefly about those?
Yeah, so with respect to our live streams, we're doing something called Deconstructed every Tuesday. And it's pretty much just a series where we spotlight an ASCAP songwriter or a music executive, and we just talk to them and break down, stories behind their songs. If it's an executive, we're talking to them about the business in general and getting career advice. So it's been really good on that end in this COVID era, I would say. We also do numerous workshops as well that Jen spoke about. We have the collective workshop that we do in conjunction with the Ascap Foundation, which has been really good. So obviously right now we're not able to do those workshops because of the situation we're living in, but we're trying to figure out how to kind of pivot and keep those opportunities coming to our members.
All right, that's good to know. I know so many people that are musical heroes of a lot of our viewers have come out of those workshops or participated in them in some way. So look forward to seeing how they change. So JJ, there are some extra monetary programs, special monetary programs that we offer through member access. Can you talk a little bit about Onstage and the Plus Awards?
Yeah, for sure. So with Ascap Onstage, that's a program that we have. It allows songwriters to get paid for the performance of their works in a live venue. So it's super simple. What you would do is you would log in once again to Members Access to your account, and you would just upload your set list and let us know where you performed. And when you do that, we're able to pay you for those performances. In this era of COVID-19, obviously, you're not able to perform like that in live venues right now, but we also pay out on live streams as well. So you're able to go in and just let us know the platform that you're performing on, and you're able to get paid for that as well. So that's something that we're really excited about. Also, you asked about Plus Awards. Plus Awards are really good as well. It's for composers of children's music, musical theater, jazz, concert. If you make under $25,000 a year, you're eligible for a Plus Award, and you can apply online via Members Access.
Just to be clear, that's under 25,000 from ASCAP, right?
From ASCAP, yes, from ASCAP. And so if you meet that criteria, you can apply for a Plus Award. And if you're selected for an ASCAP Plus Award, you will see that in your January distribution. So that's another monetary program that we're really proud of.
Great. Yeah, I've personally seen both of those programs make a big difference for a lot of our up and coming songwriters and composers. So I know a lot of us are feeling like, with all the information we get every single day, it's still actually really hard to stay up to date on the relevant stuff that's actually going to make a difference in your music career, and what's happening in our industry, how it's evolving. So JJ, can you talk a little bit about how our members can stay informed on all that?
Yeah, for sure. So I feel like we do a really good job with our socials, the ASCAP general account, and also some of our genres have specific accounts as well, such as the R&S department, my department, Latin, film, and TV. So we really focus on pumping out quality content that deals with what's going on in the music industry, and as well that deals with opportunities that our members can take advantage of. So that's one thing that we do. We also have the daily brief that goes out every day, and it's an email of compiled articles that is compiled by our ASCAP board member, DK. And the articles talk about happenings in the music industry and music in general. So that's a really great resource.
Fantastic resource.
Yeah, it's literally from all over the web, and it's really good, really informative.
Makes me wonder how he has time to find all that. It's amazing how much is in there. It's really wonderful.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. We also have our new ASCAP podcast called Burst, and that's relatively new, and that's been really successful so far. We'll have different ASCAP members come on and talk about their life, their career, what inspires them, kind of give career advice in general. Some really, really great conversations that come from that too. And we also have our advocacy page. ASCAP is really, really big on songwriters' rights and fighting for songwriters' rights. And so we have a page devoted to that, and we encourage ASCAP members to get involved as well, and learn how they can be a part of that fight too. It's something that's really, really important to ASCAP. So we definitely want you to go to our advocacy page and learn more about what we're doing to fight for songwriters' rights.
JJ, I'm really happy you brought that up, actually, because to my mind, songwriter composer advocacy is one of the most important things that we do. And that's been the case for our entire 106-year history as an organization. We've always fought to uphold the value of what music creators do. We've been doing a lot, especially now during the pandemic, to try and champion songwriters. So for just as one example, we joined the music business in calling on the federal government to include provisions in their COVID-19 relief packages that would help music makers. And they did. So big pat on the back for the entire music industry for making that happen. So if any of you watching are interested in what we're doing and how you can help on the advocacy front, please visit ascap.com/advocacy. There's a lot going on there. Okay, so I also wanted to mention JJ, you mentioned a lot of different emails, the daily brief. We also have Inside Music. So if you're not already signed up for that, ascap.com/email, and you can choose which type of correspondence you're interested in. Okay, Jen, I want to get back to you. So another way that our members can stay informed is by keeping the communication lines open with Ascap. Can you talk a little bit about how that works on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, as a member of the membership team, I'm answering member questions every day. Our board is composed of 24 Ascap members who are elected by the Ascap membership. And so that directive of taking care of members comes from the top down. So it's my prime directive to take care of you and answer your questions. We also have a really wonderful global services team that you can reach through our phone line and also on our member access website that can answer all sorts of questions about the industry. We're sort of the nonpartisan, unbiased, not-for-profit in this situation. So we can give good feedback when you're looking at different business opportunities and trying to consider what to pursue, next steps. Those are all things that we can be informative about and just be another resource for you. Outside of that, we have our national team does a really wonderful program called Straight Talk. So you can do a virtual Straight Talk session with them and sign up to get your questions answered about Ascap, which is really wonderful. And then, we have a lot of networking events, and granted, everything is a little different these days, but we're doing our best to figure out the online opportunities for that. And when we are back to a safer space, we look forward to relaunching our film scoring workshops, our songwriting workshops, our Break Bread, Collab Lab, all of these different opportunities for you to network with your community. And in the meantime and forever, we could actually be a resource for connecting you with other organizations of people that do similar work to you, so that you're not only turning to us for advice, you're turning to other people that are educated about the process. So the Society of Composers and Lyricists, the Alliance for Women Film Composers, the Composers Diversity Collective, those are all groups that my team tends to refer to provide those opportunities for networking.
Got it. You reminded me when we were talking about how all the networking has changed during the COVID era. I wanted to mention Music Unites Us. It's a resources page that we put together after the pandemic hit. So resources to get financial help, to navigate government aid programs and other aid programs set up by other organizations, info about how to stay connected and creative while you're quarantining, and some tips for keeping up your physical and mental health. In fact, we started co-hosting these free cyber support groups with Music Cares. So if you could use any assistance, visit ascap.com/music unites us if you're interested in any of that. Okay, I wanted to get to some questions. So before we do that, let's talk about when you're at a phase of your career where you're starting to have some success. How can ASCAP help you in that stage? JJ, any insights?
Yeah, so just to kind of piggyback off of what Jen was saying, we're really kind of neutral, and we really are invested in ASCAP writers' careers. So we do a number of things. Anything from setting up co-writes and studio sessions to sometimes pitching records to artists for certain projects. We also do songwriting camps. Um, our pop rock department does a great camp out in France every year, where they literally have writers and producers go to a castle for a few days and just create. It's super cool. We also had our She Is the Music songwriting camp in Nashville a couple of years ago. And we partnered with the organization, and we had female songwriters, producers, and engineers all come down to Nashville and write some great songs. We had Mary J. Blige come down, want to be a part of that as well. So we're big on the songwriting count front. In addition, I would say our showcases are something that we're really into as well, highlighting talent, highlighting up and coming ASCAP members. We have a stage at South by Southwest down in Austin. We also have a stage at the Sundance Film Festival too. And in my department, the Rhythm and Soul department, we do something called On the Come Up. And it's a showcase where we pretty much highlight talent in different regions. We have a show in New York, Atlanta, and LA. So obviously this year, once again, COVID kind of threw a wrench in those plans, but we're going to take it online and do it virtually. So that'll be this September. We're going to do that. So we're just a creative resource to our members, and it's something that we really enjoy doing.
JJ, you have the Check It Out series also, right? Which is another virtual opportunity.
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me about that. We do our Check It Out series. We actually had one last week, and we'll give ASCAP members a chance to submit their music. And if they're selected, they get live critique and feedback from an industry professional. And we took it online last week. So we're just really trying to figure out ways to kind of pivot, but still be there for our members during this time.
Great. And Jen, right before we get to our questions, can you talk a little bit about like the prizes and grants that are open to ASCAP members as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a charitable arm called the Ascap Foundation, and different members over time have contributed to that to support our membership, and it supports songwriting community as well as the composer community with lots of different programs. So definitely check it out to see what they've been doing to support our members. And they're also involved a good bit with educational programming that's provided to younger people as well. So we're trying to help raise everybody well. So yeah, definitely check out the ASCAP Foundation.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so let's get some questions from our lovely audience. We got a question from Brian on bass that says, if I perform my original music at a venue that ASCAP collects licensing funds from, how do I get paid, and how much do I get paid for my performance? So JJ, you mentioned Onstage. So that's, why don't you head up that answer?
Yeah, that's essentially how you would get paid. You would register your set list at the venue and to your members access account via Onstage. And we would then know to pay you for those performances. Now, the question of how much you would get paid really depends on what the license fee that venue pays us. So there's no black and white answer to how much you would get paid. It varies depending on the licensing fee from that venue. But it's super important to make sure you register your set list to Onstage via members access.
The cool thing to me about this program and the way the money works is that what you get paid is directly tied to what the licensee is paying us. So it's a really very close connection between you and this great venue that's hosting you. Okay, great. So we have another question from, let's go with Phil. So if I'm using DistroKid to get my music to iTunes and the retailers and they collect royalties, will I see anything under ASCAP earnings? In other words, how does ASCAP differ from a distributor? So, I mean, I know there are two very different kinds of organizations, a distributor and ASCAP. ASCAP collects performance royalties, which is when your music is performed publicly. So that could be streaming services, live venues, radio, TV, etc. But it's not necessarily the same kind of income stream that DistroKid is collecting. So, as far as I know, two separate sources of income. Is that how you guys understand it?
Yeah, it goes back to the master sound recording side and the publishing side. So DistroKid is going to collect your record royalties on the master side, so to speak, whereas ASCAP is obviously collecting your performance royalties. And so that's a publishing type of royalty that we would collect. So that's the difference.
Okay, so Jen, we have one that you might have some insights into. Usernames MTD asked, for film scores, would it help to add metadata in the music file? Maybe that's related to the cue sheet issue you were talking about?
Yeah, the work registrations that we have on file contain a lot of metadata that, as it's termed. So we're ultimately linking, when we're looking at a cue sheet, we're linking back to those works that carry a lot of that metadata. It's not necessarily visible to you as a user looking at the cue sheet, but it's definitely when we're trying to link things up and make everything match up. We have those resources on file with us. So yeah, we're using different mechanisms, a lot of different mechanisms, to make sure that the appropriate work is matching to the appropriate cue on file.
Okay, thank you. I think we have time for maybe one more question. So I'm not sure how to pronounce this. B-Trapped or BTRPT asked, I just finished my first album and registered all of the songs as writer and publisher. Good job, you did the right thing. What places online do you recommend for getting my music out there? So I think it depends on what you mean by out there. I mean, you definitely want to get it on all the services that you can, and a distributor can certainly help you do that. You don't have to send to iTunes and Spotify and Pandora and Apple Music independently. You do it all at once through other distributors. Or I'm sorry, through one distributor. But from either of your minds, are there like go-to sites that you like going to either read about music or listen to music?
Well, for me personally, I just want to just kind of piggyback off what you were saying, Aton. Just a quick point, like as far as getting your music out there, you have to remember that I think there's something like 40,000 songs a day that go up on Spotify. There's a lot of music out there, right? So you should be focused on figuring out how to set yourself apart from the other artists to cut through that saturation. So just keep that in mind going forward. It's more than just about getting your music on the platform. It's really about cutting through and standing out in general as an artist. So sorry I didn't answer your question, but I want to just add that as well.
Oh, dude, that's a perfect point. Thank you so much. And that's actually about the time we have for questions. So thank you so much, everybody.